What's up everyone, it's Jambor's new video, and in this video I will teach you how from this picture I will create this picture. And that it's very easy and you don't need to spend time on anything else than just Lightroom. You don't need to have a flashlight with you, you don't need to have any light with you, you don't even need to put your subject into the light to simulate the flash. And this is how the technology can be used today. And as you can see, the result is brilliant, and I will teach you how can you do it with any picture with the modern camera, unless you go into really huge darkness. Let's do this. Alright guys, so this is how the picture looks now. You can see that big detail is in the eyes, the face is popping a little bit out. The hair are visible, it's a very natural feeling. This is my kind of signature style, so I'm using my signature presets. And there is a lot of work done. So let's break it down and let's get to the very similar feeling like this picture has, because 100% I wouldn't be able to replicate it 1-to-1. But I will show you how to do it. So I'm using Lightroom. Like, first of all, I prefer this layout much better, and also I would say it's also much faster. So this is why I'm using it. It fits me much better. Also, it's using cloud. Sometimes I'm putting things into the cloud to let my clients to choose the best possible pictures. They can give hearts to them, and so on and so on and so on. And that's the reason. So also I will be editing in it. There is not a big difference between using those two Lightrooms in the way of the result, just what you prefer, but the way how you will do it is the same. So let's find a picture first. Okay, so here we go. So this is the original picture, and you can see that the subject is in dark, the light is behind, there's a little bit of shade from the subject or from the model. All of it looks like this. Again, I will show you the result, which looks like this, right? It's a big difference, right? If you compare those two things together, this is like very huge difference. And what I'm using, so first of all, I always apply my preset. In this case, you can check like my Pixelmator KDK green, which I think I will use this one. Insider, of course, with the presets, you always need to do another work with them, right? They're just giving you the standards. Let's say, I would use this one, Film KDK green. I will immediately add light in here, and I will immediately play with contrasts. Okay, I like it actually very much how it's already. I will put a little bit of highlights over here. I will put harsh shadows a little bit more. I will pop out a little bit more white to help with the skin tones, because I like when the skin really pops out. Why I want skin to be more like flashed? The reason is very simple. This is where your eyes will go first time. If you go with your eyes somewhere else, something is wrong with the picture. So as you can see, now the lit up is basically the background. Part of the background it's not. But with this, we will start to do some things which will completely, or I don't know if completely, but I think they can blow your mind a little bit. So this is actually where we are now, let's say plus minus. I'm using a lot of AI instruments because when I'm having a big series of pictures, this just helps me a lot be extremely effective, because so many things I'm doing, I'm repeating by principle on many other photos. And this is how your workflow can get absolutely crazy, and I will show you some tricks. So what I will do over here, first of all, I will basically choose what I want. So I will wait for the AI to detect the person, which will be immediately, and I will choose two main things I need here to be chosen, because with the rest I'm very happy. I will then also check some little details, but first eyes, iris and pupil, and also eye sclera. So first of all, with the pupils, I need them to pop out more. So I will firstly do like some exposure, a little bit details. I'll play with a little bit with whites. This is basically it, but what I do very often, I will put texture over 50, sometimes even 100. Why? I want that the first contact with the picture is with the model's eyes, because this is where you look into the person. I don't want you to be attracted by anything else. On the first look, I want the eyes to mesmerize you. This is the main principle of basically of what we are doing here, and you will see how slower and slower, or better and better, the eyes will pop out realistic way. It looks like we are using flash. It already looks a little bit like, but it will be much better. What's with the eyes color? Most people, even in this picture, it's better. They have reddish eyes, especially in summer. They are like, you know, all the time on the sun or something. It's natural, but it doesn't look that good. So I put the saturation down on the eyes color, and this is it. And in this picture, a little bit, I will a little bit push also the exposure. So now already the eyes are popping out. Now they're starting to be the brightest thing. But let's leave the eyes now. What I will do also in here, I will put, because I use a lot of grain in here because I like this vintage kind of look or film look, but not in here. I will put it just on 20 to be more concrete. In here, I will not play with anything. I will keep the vignette. I will keep the grain. This is perfect. What I can experiment in here a little bit, because we see that it's oranges because it was a sunset kind of orangey light a little bit. I like the colors over here. I can put a little bit more light on orange. So again, the skin pops out on the place where we want, where I want. So now what I will do, I will again use the AI. So first of all, I will use background. I will strip down a little bit of background. This is clear. I will push out the highlights a bit, but still the exposure will be done lesser. The reason is I want her to pop out even more, to separate her from the background, to be her the dominant part of it also by light. Actually, maybe I will, let's see, maybe I will play with it a little bit more. The important thing, why I'm doing it in most of the pictures, is I want to a little bit downgrade the exposure of the background in general for giving the separation. But if I do it too much, it just don't feel natural. So I must be very careful how to do it. Of course, if you have a model like this, very in front, it's better, easier. If you have like three plain, let's say 3D space, when there is some story in front of the subject, then the subject and something in the background, then you need to be very careful, because then it really can feel very unnatural. There are instruments, and one of the favorite instruments is using the linear gradient. So now how I'm using it, we see that the lights go basically evenly in front. But remember, it wasn't there. This is how it looked before. This is how it looks now. Already a huge difference. This is what I will do. I will put a little bit more light from the side. From the side. And this is important just from the perspective view. But not that much. And because you see how it affected also the background, I will exclude the background, pressing minus and background off. Now this now looks even better. I will show you the difference. It's a big difference. So if you see it like this, actually now this feels unnatural light. This feels actually much more natural, and it looks like you used a light. So what I will do now, another thing, I will use the radial gradient. I will put it on her face like this. Basically, I will manage to pop on the area. And what area is important for me? It's this area where are the eyes, nose, and mouth. This is my thing, right? This is what we need. I will again add a little bit of exposure, just a little bit. Maybe now it's too much, but I will rather play with this exposure than with this one, because this area for me is the most important part of her visage. I will do exposure. I will add contrast. Yes, it feels weird, right? But I will add contrast because I want this part of the face to pop out. And I will put a little bit of clarity. Normally it's around 20, 50, depends, but also a texture. That again creates a little bit of a difference over here. So adding just those four things change the stuff. Like, can you see it? Pops like it feels that the lights is there, and we're just starting, right? We will now add one more gradient. I could copy it, but I want to do something different. I applied it also into this picture, but you can use it freely however you want. And basically what I want to do, I want to create such a column of light around her. Now you will say like, what are you doing? Yes, but I will exclude the subject. And now, if you can see, the area is behind, so I created some like contra light a little bit to even support the subjects popping out separated from the background looks a bit more natural than if it's not there. Of course, this is a very nitpicking, but to play with such details and to maintain them will help you to understand that with nowadays tools you can shoot amazingly whenever. You can see still the difference, right? Absolute, absolute. And if I just even put the preset up, absolute. But nowadays the cameras has such, especially 10-bit cameras and more, has so much space to play with that you really don't need to follow every technical rules by having analog stuff with you. It sounds crazy, but imagine how much saves the cost of everything, but also hard work. You know, with the spot flashlight, if you don't have it in your hands, you need to take all those sandbags and so on and so on and so on. And now you don't need to be afraid if you have a composition, if you know what you want to do in advance, you can create such a thing. Because for me, the idea was I have a bright background over here, it creates depth. I like the stairs over here, very nice, but I want her to pop out like the flash is over there on her. This separation also helps because it gives this kind of real or very eye pleasant detail. But what I will do now, of course, I'm very curious how much this will go with the picture I previously shown you, which is already done and sent to the client, but I was allowed to play with this. But now I will take a brush and I will play a little bit with the eyes. So there are many methods how you can do it, but I prefer to do this. I've always first find the brightest areas and I will mark them a little bit more out. This is the first thing I will do. To make it really like the flash was there, I want to be sure that as a professional, if the professional watch looking at this wouldn't really guess for real, right? Now I will use the brush again, and now I will take this area and I will do it the same thing on both eyes. One over here and one over here, and making it a little bit brighter. Now this, when I zoom out, created like more 3D effects. The eyes are popping out a little bit more, and I will adjust it a little bit more so the eyes are out, and then I will just try to match those two pictures. So this is first thing what I did, you know, the face. Let's check how it's different from the start. A lot, right? But it feels natural, which I like. It feels natural, it feels with the care, which what I did, which just don't really annoy you. But what I will do now, I will create one more brush. You can also do it in one brush, and I will mark those little areas around her eyes, this and this, which will create a 3D effect which will pop the eyes out. You must be just careful that the line is not too much. If it's like this bright, it feels already touched. But if you just find a perfect moment where the eyes are popping out, and I will show you, because if you're close you don't see it, you see it if you're far away. And I will show you how's the difference with the eye popping. Can you see it? How the eye's popping a little bit more out? Maybe it's a very big detail, but it makes a difference. Again, let's watch it. Nothing, red eyes, everything wrong. Looks like normally studio setup outside, right? It feels very, very, very slick, I would say. So this is what I will do. Sometimes I will also play with the teeth. The only thing is with the teeth, and the AI is perfect of taking them, that it sometimes looks very natural when they are just not white, you know, because then they take so much attention. So in this case, I will leave them out, but this is only what you can also do. But we are not over yet. So this is the first phase. I would say I'm very, very happy with what we see over here right now. What I will do now, I will use brush again. This now will be the tool for the last check. So what I will do now is, instead of analogly or AI one, take those areas like eyes and everything, I will do it manually, because I want to pinpoint this part of the face, just this. So the mouth, a little bit space around the mouth, the nose, eyes, and a little bit of eyebrows. Nothing else. I don't want this area, I don't want this area. Again, I want it to a little bit pop out, even it's not that necessary, but let's do it. Let's say over 24. Then what I want to do, I will add more texture, I will add a little bit more clarity, and I will add a little bit more contrast. Of course, somebody has a measurement for me. It's like, let's do this like details are important, but you don't need to like think all the time it should be 10 clarity 20 something, but no, just feel it, feel it, do it how you feel it. No one even knows about this, that you have done it. Now, because I really like it, I will do it once again, and I will choose just the area of the eyes, a little bit of more nose, just to have this 3D effect of the face, and pop this area a little bit out because I want your eyes to go this way. Again, I will put more exposure, but I will put a little bit more contrast, like more, a little bit texture and more clarity. And now I will just play and you can see the difference again, like what is happening over here. Very nice picture. It looks already a little bit touched by, like it looks touched, but who doesn't use Photoshop, like, although you don't need to do it. But what is more important, it looks good. This is very important. So now the face is done and the face is our thing over here. What can we do? What I didn't do in previous pictures, but this is just for example, we can also use a little bit of brush and we can use this area where the shade is, because it's very fast. It's very steady. And we can make the shade being a little bit more darker. But as you can see, it doesn't work because again, it takes your eyes. So what you can actually do to make it even like disappear almost, and you can put this area also whitish, but it's a bullshit, right? Doesn't really work. Don't do this. Rarely play with the things that this is natural. It's part of the story and it's okay in my opinion. So what can we now do? What we see, what we can improve. So first of all, let's check the eyes color again. So it's very bright. So let's put it a little bit darker. So the 3D effect will come and pop up a little bit more, but we still cannot see that I touched it more. It's very barely visible and makes the 3D effect of the eyes. So the eyes are now the center of the attention. What I can do, but it depends on how you like the natural of the lipstick and so on, because if you shoot like this with the models without any stylist and so on, there will be those mistakes all the time. The most important is the good atmosphere. You can play with the lips a bit. Of course, this is an old method. What I recommend, because it works much faster, just use the lips. Choose the lips. Play with the highlights. Play with the clarity. In this case, less is better. But you cannot do it. Also, what you can do, if you don't like the color, you can make the color change completely. Yes, this is easy. If you just know that you want like to have a same color everywhere, you can use this instrument. I'm not using it all the time because it feels a little bit unnatural, and for this face I don't want this to brag the attention that much. So for me this is actually perfect. I will check also with the eyes what it would do if I put it a little bit more, even it's too much, but actually it feels very good. I really like it. And I would keep it. So those are like all the changes I did. And now if I compare it with the picture, this one is a little bit more made, which I can actually, oh my god, I like them both so much. But what I can do in here to match it a little bit more is that in this case, I will add a little bit more mate-ish, because I think I used a little bit different preset, but the principle is same. But now I think I'm matching it a little bit more. It's a little bit more brighter. Maybe it's a little bit better. It's all the time like this. Send the pictures when you are happy, or wait for the other day. Check them out. Look at them and say like, okay, this is the thing. But then you need to do all of them at least one series the very same way, or in color palette the same way. Just don't send pictures which are completely different. I want to make AI to make those hair disappear and so on and so on. Why? Natural look, it feels good, it feels that it happened, and it also helps with the touch. So what you can do now with what we've done is that if you choose to make the skin a little bit smoother, you can copy this, what we already done, the brush. But now what I will do, I will invert the brush and I will make everything else what is not included in brush. So this is all the areas around, and I will put the texture a little bit, don't overdo it, a little bit more down. Now, what is important? I affected everything, right? So I again need to exclude some things. And I, in this case, would choose her. And I would basically exclude everything regardless her face. I can also, you may say like, why didn't you choose the skin? Because I already popped everything what I wanted out. So if I just do this, so I'm excluding this, only what I include is facial skin. Subtract, and now it's done. This is how we work with it, and this is no need of Photoshop. And the thing is that now I was very slow in doing it because I'm talking to you, I'm trying to match something which would never really happen, but see the big difference. And now I will show you the original, and actually I will show you the complete original, which actually is this picture. So I will show the original. This is how we get to this. Crazy, right? And it's easy. It's easy. It feels very natural. It could be natural with some touch, of course. Don't tell with somebody you send this that you'd never touched it, but send done. Like, imagine if you're sending raw. This is why I don't send raw very rarely, because how does this represent this picture? How does it represent what I really took with the camera, right? You must always show examples, like distinguish with, like, this is not what you're gonna receive. So be careful about this. Find your own style. You can use also my preset on Buy Me a Coffee. You can buy them. Tell me what you think about this tutorial, if you enjoyed, if you liked it. I'm not doing it that much, so I'm not really used to doing them. So tell me what you think, if it did help you, if you tried it, and see and watch my other videos. See you there. Thank you for watching. Bye.